Technology is everywhere. We use it all the time. I'm using it right now by using my phone to record myself. I'm using it to show you my slides. We use it for everything. In the 21st century, everything is at the tips of our fingers. We don't have to think about things, we just Google it. If I want to fix something, I Google it on my phone. We're not using critical thinking skills anymore. Technology is helping delete it. We don't need it as often. It's everywhere. Technology is creating for us, it's evaluating for us, analyzing for us, understanding for us, helping us remember things. Everything is right there. We don't have to do any of it ourselves. We can do it all at the click of a button. A UCLA professor named Professor Patricia Greenfield analyzed studies, over 50 of them, on technology and critical thinking skills, and she concluded that as our visual skills are getting much better, our critical thinking skills are declining rapidly. This picture depicts a classroom where they're asking the students to use they're asking them to use whatever they need to figure out a solution. And it's funny to me because they're all on tablets and stuff. So they're not using any critical thinking skills or searching for a correct way. They're just finding the answer as quickly as possible. In a 2017 article by Matt Self and Andrew Rome called "The Internet is Killing Your Critical Potential," what they did is they did a paper plane project. There was two groups. A group where they could use Google to, what they wanted them to do is to make paper airplanes, and they were judging them based on the creativity of the airplane and how far it flew. So they did a group who could use the internet and Google to search these things, and they used a group who couldn't use anything to make their paper airplanes. What they found was that the group who were able to use Google did have better looking airplanes, and they did fly, more of them flew farther. But they learned that in the group that did not have Google, there was the two airplanes that flew the farthest, and they were the most creative. And this is because they used their imagination. The Google group all just found one online and were able to copy it exactly. So the problem was the non-Google group, because we were not using critical thinking skills anymore. They didn't know how to make a plane, and they didn't know what to do to make it go farther. And the other people just Googled it, and they had it right there. Where these are things we need to think about and process and reflect on so we can learn how to solve problems like these. Critical thinking is being able to, debate and be able to have structured arguments, and how we reflect on things and the creativity of things. And we're losing all aspects of these things because we go online and it's right there for us. We can just, as in this shows, go to our criticalthinking.com to find our answers. And that's why we're losing the ability to do these things. Jennifer Heltner wrote in a journal article in 2015, Technology and Critical Thinking. And it highlights how we read less now. We don't read as much as we used to. Instead of reading, which we would read and we would reflect on what we're reading, books are being read less and less now, and we go online and we're skimming over things to find the answer quickly. So we skim. So now in this article, it shows that we are reading more in a sense because we go online and read more, but we're not actually reading the information. We're skimming through to find exactly what we need. So that's another thing. We're not reflecting on what we're reading. We're not learning more about it. We're finding what we need right then and there, and that is that. It also shows how we're not, with writing skills, we're not learning how to write properly and how to use punctuation and stuff because we have our word processors with our technology, so we're not having to think about it. It shows us when something's spelled incorrectly. It shows us where our punctuation needs to be. We click that button and it's done right there for us. Another way we're not thinking critically about things. We're relying so much on technology to fix things for us and think for us that we're not doing it. So without it, what do we know how to do? What do we know how to solve and do on our own? In 2015, and what happened to critical thinking, by Joseph Ventrelli. He states that when we are challenged with something, we don't sit by ourselves and think about it and learn what we can do on our own. We're not processing what we're going through. We're going to social media, technology again, we're not thinking about it. And we're asking for other people's opinions on the situation, what they would do. And it's taken away from our emotional attachment to it because we're reading what they're saying and that's what we're basing it off of. We're not sitting there and reflecting on how we truly feel about it. So there are things we can do to improve critical thinking. We can reflect on the information we're learning. We can take time to sit and think about everything that we're learning. We need to ask open-ended questions, therefore allowing us to reflect more on it. And we need to be able to read more books, and we need to learn how to go online and be able to think more critically. The internet is there to help us. It does allow for us to be critical thinkers. We need to learn how to go on and search for more things. And a perfect example for this is with me is I taking a humanities class, and I never realized how much I don't reflect on things or how much I don't understand things, like the way and just critical thinking about it. Like when we're asked to look at a painting or a structure and tell what we think it means, these things have been overlooked by me. I even found myself Googling, what does this building mean? And I don't take the time to sit and think about it. And throughout this class, I've learned more how to do that, how to sit and think more critically about something and figure out answers for myself, or look at something long enough and read something more in depth that I'm understanding it better. And these are just things we can do to all better ourselves. Use the internet to help us, not just to find the answers for us, to learn more about what we're looking for. It is helpful, but it's not helping with our critical thinking skills. But like I said, we can use it to help with those skills. Thank you.